Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Swanton Village Board of Trustees for December 11th, 2023. And first item on the agenda is if you'd rise and pledge allegiance to the flag with me. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Agenda review. Do we have any changes, additions, subtractions to our agenda that anybody knows about?
No, sir.
I see we have an executive session to discuss customer accounts, personnel, and real estate. Okay, good. Public comment. We have fewer public tonight, but
We do have one online.
we have one online. Okay. Okay, there's no public comment. Next item, approve and accept the minutes from our regular board meeting held on Monday, November 27th, 2023, and the joint SLB meeting and trustees meeting held on December 4th, can't even read here, 2023, as presented. What's your pleasure on the minutes?
So moved on both.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve and accept the minutes from both meetings. Any discussion, changes? That being said, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, abstentions, none, it's carried unanimously. Item number 6, approve and accept the village warrants through Thursday, December 7th, 2023, as presented.
I would make that,
Go ahead.
I'll make that motion,
I'll second.
119 through 123.
The motion's been made and seconded to approve and accept the village warrants. Any discussion, questions?
One question.
All right, yeah.
On warrant 124, line 87968, Stuart C. Irving.
Stuart C. Irving. Irving, isn't that chemicals?
I think it is. I would have to follow up to verify. I think it's chemicals.
Okay. I think you're right, but I just didn't ring a bell with me.
I'll send out an update tomorrow morning.
Okay, that's it.
Any other questions, discussion?
No.
Okay, if not, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion's carried unanimously. Item number 7, Swanton Historical Society update with Heather Lavoie. Welcome, Heather.
Good evening. Thank you for having me here tonight. I am coming representing the interests of the Swanton Historical Society. I kind of did a little summary to kind of catch you up to date with everything, kind of where we're at with the Swanton Historical Society. Basically, we're ran by only volunteers. And we're dedicated to preserving Swanton's history through memorabilia, artifacts, oral history, photos, buildings, and recordings. The Swanton Train Depot was rescued from destruction through our volunteers' determination to preserve its charm and value of Swanton's past. Today, with much appreciation, Swanton Town has donated the maintenance, care, and utility costs of running the building for us, and in doing so, we have full access, and we have visitors, community events, presentations, and general visiting hours at the train depot. However, it's not our home. It is mainly with railroad focus in that building, and the land that it's on is also has a roundhouse foundation still on the property. We also maintain separately, the Swanton Historical Society maintains the caboose that was donated and the toll house from the Swanton Elberg train area on that property from our own funds. I love that it's situated across from the bridge that was destroyed by fire, which was devastating, and replaced with help from the Swanton Historical Society with the metal bridge connecting the rail trail. And let's see, then currently we've been seeking a new home alternatives to the Swanton Public Library. I don't know if you know, we're in the basement there. And there's been some contentions for space with the library's new programs they've been doing. And to be honest, we are kind of outgrowing the space a bit ourselves. It's very full in there. We do have access to the train depot's basement as well, but nobody gets to see anything in the basement. Now we have Roy Insurance Building is being generously presented as a potential home for us by David Horton. He's given me permission to share publicly that he is offering it to us, as he wants to preserve the building and the history of it all. It's amazing history to it. The positive things is the price he's offering it is at $124,000. It's amazingly centrally located, would be a great spot for the Swanton Historical Society. It has a significant value. It survived the Swanton fire. And it also was originally built in the early 1800s, the front part. And then it was added on later in the early 1900s to the back, and the amazing vault that's in there. It's a huge vault.
Yeah.
That it was survived the fires and that it's been a bank. What a better place to preserve some history documents and very valuable parts of our history there. Let's see. It's been meticulously maintained by Mr. Horton. It's been heated and cooled all these years that it's been empty, because it's not being used presently. So that was really good. And it also, by preserving this building, it aligns with a lot of Swanton's goals to protect historic qualities of Swanton's Village as a traditional New England settlement, and recognize that these resources contribute to the town's economic well-being. It would be wonderful to see this building brought back to life and something that everybody sees driving through town, a main area. So, I also, currently last week, we've hired Kevin Nichols to do a inspection. And yeah, he's gonna follow through and give me some results of that either this week or beginning of next week.
Nice.
Heather, how much land is there in the back of that?
Not much, it's just that little garden area. There's it seems, I'm not sure on the actual space of it, but
There were 2 buildings in there before the fire,
there were.
so,
The building right behind it burnt down. Like,
Yeah.
he was saying it was like that far away. Yeah,
Unbelievable.
yeah. But there is a little garden patch back there that's not very big, probably enough for maybe a parking spot if someone pulled in, but it could be used as a,
elevator shaft.
pardon?
Elevator shaft.
Yes, it could be elevator shaft or somewhere where it could be picnic area
Yeah.
for school visits, anything like that, yeah. We also are thinking of putting a lift in the very front of the building, because the main area we would want is that first floor to be open to the public, and preferably using the downstairs as offices and being able to categorize everything and as it comes in, and meetings downstairs below. But we're thinking about putting a lift in the front.
Because of
I
the
know.
steps.
Because of the steps, yes. Yeah,
That's what I said.
but Kevin
Okay.
Nichols will probably have a better idea.
What do you have for parking there?
Ace Hardware.
Exactly, yes, Ace
In
Hardware.
addition to Ace Hardware, yeah.
Well, so the right-of-way is a part of the building as well. That goes back to the apartments. The parking, we could, approach about maybe getting a rental, lease on some of the parking spaces that are currently there at Ace Hardware. But it would also have to be cut into the curb to be handicapped as well, access to the building. I don't know if the Chamber of Commerce would like to, and these are just temporary ideas of creative ideas, temporary to, be combined with this building, so we could have this area where it's kind of an information as well as the historical, and maybe move that space into some parking right there, but I'm not sure what the
You better look to your far.
yeah, on what the plans are for this village parking. I know that it's always been an issue with that downtown area, because, we don't want people, if they're parking across the road, getting across to us on that busy road would be definitely a challenge. So we're trying to come up with some ideas, even if that right of way is somehow the people can access the apartments at a different angle. Maybe we could turn at least one parking spot to handicap parking on that right of way. We're looking at everything that we could possibly come up with that would be beneficial for the town and for access to the building, for sure. But it's in really good shape for the age and what it's gone through.
So is there an ask from the trustees to the trustees, or at this point, or just more information?
This is information, we are looking, we don't have the funds for the $124,000. We run on a very small budget. We probably, I think at the end, we probably run a deficit of $2,000 a year on what we do. And we do have a small savings that's invested right now that was given to us. So this would not be, this would be a community effort for us to be able to attain the building and maintain it. But it's a very positive thing, I hope, for people to want to consider helping us purchase this and maintain.
So, Mr. Horton is willing to sell it to you?
Yes, he came to us.
I
He
see.
had no idea that we were looking for a place,
Good
which
idea.
it just worked out for all of us that way. He has a lot of meaning, and you could tell that it was cared for, and a lot of memories there. So,
Oh, sure.
yeah.
That's where I got my first job.
See?
My father was bank
right.
manager
That's
for the
right.
Chittenden Bank that was in there.
Yes.
This is 1950, and my first job when I was about 5 years old, 6 years old, was to mow that lawn by hand.
It
Not
was-
with gas powered, right, with one of the,
No, yeah, rotary. Sears
Yeah.
rotary motor.
Yeah.
The
And trim it with hand clippers.
The Chittenden Bank were the ones who preserved the original blueprints
Yeah.
of the building.
Yeah.
So we're very grateful to them.
Yeah, because it was remodeled when my father was there,
Yes.
into the counters that are there now. Well, they aren't there now, but they had it more modern from the original bank. you know.
The tin ceilings are still there, the original tin ceilings. And on in the upstairs area. And there's some marble in the trim. It's very pretty.
There's a vault downstairs too,
Yes, there is. Yes, there is.
not quite as large as the one upstairs.
No, or fancy.
Mr. President, may I put my other hat on for 2 minutes?
Your chamber hat,
Yes.
Yes.
So as president of the Chamber of Commerce as well,
Ah,
maybe we can have a side conversation later on, if
okay,
that works.
that would work.
Okay.
Yes,
So,
wonderful.
And then for both hats,
yep,
because we are doing downtown enhancements through VHB, we have our engineer on board and we're doing pedestrian safety, so the crosswalk just downstream of that on the V
Yes.
side. If you're successful and if there's any movement of the current location for your location, we probably want to collaborate on that handicap accessible entrance walkway curb cut, because that's part of what we're trying to do for downtown.
That would be wonderful,
So maybe there is a tie-in there that we can help with.
wonderful.
I think it's a wonderful idea,
Thank you.
but boy, with all the money asks we're doing of the community right now, any chance you could work out a short-term lease with them for the building for a short, for 3-4 years until things quiet down a little bit and then buy it?
I could look into that.
I mean, if he's that interested in the community, he might be open to something that,
Yeah, that's a
Um,
great idea.
because I'd love to see that as a museum for the village.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's right in the heart of the area, I mean, the
It
old
is.
bridge and right behind it, of course, is where the Barney Marble Mill was. I mean, it's the perfect place for it.
it is.
I doubt that there's a lot of community money right now unless somebody wins the lottery or something, but, maybe a lease deal would work.
And proposing a lease, would that be something that would be helped by the village, or is this a lease that we would take on as the Swanton Historical
Would
Society?
depend on what the terms are.
Okay,
How lucrative and how cheap it could be, I mean, again, usually leases are with intent to buy,
exactly.
and, gotta talk to the legal beagles about that, but I mean, it's, I'd hate to see this slip by,
I agree.
but the reality of, just look around at what we've gotta do and what the state is asking of the taxpayers as well. Holy crap, I don't know how little Vermont can do it.
Yeah.
Heather, do you know if that's on the historic registry, that building?
It isn't right now, but I will be in the process of registering it no matter. For sure.
Based on its age alone, that would be.
Oh, yes. And
Because
it's still operational. David actually opens and closes it, and you can actually be in it.
Yeah. Because the State Historical Society has that Paul Broom grant money, and it's like, this year it was like $600,000, the full grant, and then they divvy it up, but that would be a great
I think
candidate.
they do somewhere between 50 and 100,000, somewhere like that.
Yeah.
What is the current population of the Swanton Village? Is it under 2,500?
Total's
I
about,
think, because total
six.
Swanton is like 67.
yeah.
Okay. Because I think one of the prerequisites is that it's under 2,500 in population for
Because
some of them.
when Paul was alive, he looked at the Sheldon House with my son and I. And he was sickly but the state has formed this grant in his name. And one of the prerequisites is to reuse a historic building, and that would
For
certainly
public
qualify.
use, yes.
So,
Yeah.
that-
Yeah, again,
It's just a
another
what if.
idea, if a lease could work, you could pursue grants,
Well, we
whatever.
are putting a deposit down to secure it while we are pursuing all financial possibilities.
Yeah.
And part of them is presenting it to the village and the town as partnershiping, as we have had with the depot.
Hmm.
But the depot was more of just accepting the some of the minor expenses that we have with the building, you know, so this would be a little bit more, but it also has a lot more with it than the depot, being centrally located,
More visible, more accessible.
yes.
Yeah.
Part of that charm of the downtown, for sure,
Yeah, that'd be super.
yeah,
Right next to the memorial building.
yes,
Good idea.
and the old theater,
Yes,
yeah.
the old theater too.
Yeah, they're right next door to each other. That would be 3 old buildings that we'd saved, that the community has saved, not we, but,
Yes,
well, that sounds like a great plan.
yes,
Keep us posted and we will see what we can do
okay,
to collaborate and get it done. Like Chris says, you were at our previous meeting, so you know how things are going.
yes. Would you like a summary of the
Report,
inspection from Mr. Nichols?
yes, please.
Okay,
Yeah.
I could do that. And see what we're really looking at for making it happen.
Yeah, you
Oh, I
can
don't
get
want
that to
this
me,
to-
Heather, and I can distribute that.
Okay,
Have we put up your lights yet?
yes, it looks
Okay.
beautiful.
All right.
Yeah,
We had a request because we have the bucket trucks and, based on availability, electric department came through once again and went down and did the lights for the Historical Society at the depot.
Oh,
we're planning on putting on a train open house the week of Christmas for the kids
oh, yeah.
there. So the lights are perfect, adds to the charm of the building too.
You're doing some work on the gatehouse too, aren't you?
The toll house, yes, we did. It needed the fascia repaired and some damage in the back. And kind of just, we're also gonna be adding some security
Yeah.
to those buildings as well. Some
Good
lighting,
idea.
security, things like that.
Great. Sounds like a good plan, Heather.
Oh, thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Heather.
And you don't have to leave, you can stay for the rest of our
Oh,
meeting if you.
I'm curious.
Okay, next item, number 8, appoint a representative to the Northwest Communications Union District Legislative Body.
So, Swanton Village resident Larry King is currently the representative, and I called him, and he is more than willing to be the representative for next year.
Hmm.
So if we
Nice.
just get a motion to appoint Larry, I'll get this to the communications district.
I make the motion that we appoint Larry King as Swanton Village representative for the CUD.
I'll thank him for his service.
I'll second it.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to appoint Larry King as our representative to the Northwest Communications Union District Legislative Body. Any discussion? None. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried unanimously. Congratulations, Larry. So,
And thank you.
next item, approve and sign Vermont State Revolving Fund Loan Agreement for wastewater plant upgrade. Yes.
So Lynn, said this was just an amendment to the, sewer plant upgrade, just to recapture expenses that we have in it so far. So it's just formality, the bond's been approved, voted, you know,
Yeah.
this
So we
is
can
just,
get reimbursed.
just reimbursement.
I make the motion that we approve the request.
And I'll second.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded to approve and sign the state's revolving loan fund agreement. No discussion, is there? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
No opposition, the motion's carried unanimously. Item number 10, the village manager's update.
It's gonna be brief tonight. So let's start with the obvious. First real big storm of the season, Public Works hit the road today at about 4 AM and got everything cleaned up. Had to hit it about 3 times today, and I think the worst of it is over. If you came in the back way, you'll notice that some of the electric company is still out in a mutual aid for Vermont Electric Co-op. I believe they were headed toward Heinsberg, but of course can be redirected. And I think VEC still has about 180 events, 4,000 customers out. So I anticipate they packed a bag. They'll likely be overnight or very late tonight. Knock on wood, no outages for us, 0 again. So we really, we're getting fortunate, and it's nice to be able to chip in a mutual aid. 3 of our members are out with that. So, all right, let's talk about some bad news. Hydro. You saw the break in the collar for Unit 1. That's going to be down. It's 1 meg. It's going to be down for 4 to 6 months. So they took the collar off. They've shipped it out. It's like 300 pounds. They do a 3D imaging, and they tell us if they can replicate it. The surprising thing is they do all of the pre-work free, all the design work for free, and then they tell us, hey, we can do it. If they can do it, they'll give us the price, and we say yay or nay. So the other thing is it has to be done and then reassembled in 2 pieces, or else you have to take everything down and apart, and it will be down for 6 to 8 months. So we're hoping to have that repair replacement cost online very soon. The better news is that Unit 3 is going to be back online next Monday. So we're spilling right now. We're spilling gold in the form of water because we can't keep up. We were at 116.5. I am sure that was this morning. I'm sure we're over 117. Hill race is too high. Gonna have to shut Unit 5 down. So we're going on Unit 2 and Unit 4, producing about 5.86 meg. And it'd be nice to get these other units back online and take advantage of this gift from Mother Nature. So it's an impact. It's not crushing right now because the power market's not, it doesn't have the demand, so we're not losing a ton of money, but we have some issues there. It gets worse. Let's move down to wastewater. So during all the open houses, we talked about one of the things that is a critical need is the centrifuge. The centrifuge is the ability to dewater our sludge, remove the impact from the right side lagoon in particular, and eventually get it stored in the building so it can be land app applied in every 2 years. The centrifuge is dead. Kaputs, no more. Smoking cannot be fired up again. So we are working with the engineers just to determine if there's any way possible, if we're missing something, if there's a temporary solution that is cost effective. The answer is not likely. They'll put that as priority number 1 for the upgrade, but we are without a centrifuge and the ability to dewater. That is going to add sludge to the lagoon, which is going to make an impact on what we're ultimately going to have to remove for sludge removal, again mandated by the state in about 10 years. But we'll explore, we'll work on it, but centrifuge, dewatering, no more. Dead until we have an upgrade for the water tonight.
I think we'd have to order the centrifuge also, right? Do you know if it's been ordered?
It has not been ordered. Remember, we had a BABA waiver, Buy America, Build America, or Build America, Buy America. We were, and then that waiver went away because we added the centrifuge at the last minute. So, yeah, I'm not sure. It'll be one of the first things that we tackle in the new project.
Sure.
But that, in all likelihood, a year from now.
Well, yeah, maybe.
In all likelihood, 1 year without dewatering. So I'm trying to get the engineers to also estimate that here's what would it ended up for land app, here's what's not, and what the impact is on sludge depths on that right side.
Is that gonna be in lagoon number 2?
Right side lagoon, first lagoon. That's
Why can't we just pile it up outside.
You-
I mean,
It's
you
not
mean,
being
it-
watered yet.
But
Well,
the
it's-
water will seep out.
yeah, let it,
Right.
yeah, as long as that water is controlled. I'm thinking of the composting process.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what this really is.
so that
Except we
is,
accelerate it by getting the water out of it.
yep,
quicker.
that's one of the discussions, but the end product of a simply nature dewatered versus centrifuge spun with
Oh, yeah,
some
it's-
chemical
It's
additives.
way more efficient, I
It,
know.
you can't land app what would be on there, so if we did take it out and dredge it and dewater it on site, they have these big bags that hold a ton each. It would sit there for a year, it would dewater a bit naturally, but that would have to go to a landfill. That is massively expensive.
Okay. I was just thinking that if you could pile it up, why can't you move it and, once the centrifuge is back in business, put a little bit of, well, no, in a year, there would be probably at least half the water would be out of it. You'd run that through the centrifuge and then it could be land applied the following year.
It's a fair question. We'll research it, the engineers will tell us, and it'll be basically a cost benefit analysis of what all the options are.
Cause we have plenty of space
We
over
do.
there.
We do.
Just another option to not have to knuckle under.
On a different note, you had heard about the technology at wastewater for P.E.G wind. We're waiting on the final steps, but P.E.G wind through VEPSA believe that they have a kilowatt hour rate that will meet or beat our 11 cents a kilowatt hour for their smaller wind turbine, again, a third the size of what you see over in New York. So at least we're at the stage now where we'll hear from them and we'll just simply talk about next steps. That's when they'll actually come to the site, they'll do a visit, they'll verify their numbers, and then they'll come in front of us, in front of all of you and say, here's what we got, should we continue? So, pretty cool, if you ask me, if they really truly can beat it and power for less cost than our kilowatt per hour rate, if they can do that whole campus and project, that would be a pretty neat thing for all involved.
Is VEPSA involved?
They're the conduit, so P.E.G Wind, it's a national thing with a lot of people in their corner, and they're very heavily subsidized, probably in all likelihood by the federal government and private partners. That's why they can give us the rate that they're looking for, but we could have small scale wind right in our backyard.
Do you have a proposed spot for it, and how tall is it?
It's 1/3 the size of a big one, so that would include a balloon test. It's the most viable site, two options, so you know where our wastewater is.
Mhm.
That's the location. And right behind the building, so if you look at the two big 15-acre kidney-shaped lagoons,
Mhm.
it's on the right-hand side, right behind the fence to the between Lagoon 1, right side, and the current facility.
Okay, so when they say 1/3 the size, it means the height?
Correct.
And- Okay.
Yes. I believe, and they believe, when we balloon test it, you will not see it from the road going down the Palm Shore.
Okay.
So it's literally much smaller. And I don't have all, because I know your next question is how many kilowatt hours does it produce and how big is it? I don't know all that at this point.
Okay.
Are they proposing more than one turbine?
One, they think
Just
one,
one?
they think one can do it. That's all I've heard. If that location doesn't work, they would have it all the way down at the end. There's kind of an open space beyond where the two kidney-shaped ponds are.
Mhm.
The problem with that is too restricted. We have too much stuff in phase 3 power that's gonna run down the middle. They'd have to run down the outside 1,400 yards.
Yeah,
That's a lot of cost.
yeah.
It's at their expense, but that's a lot of cost to run that type of cable.
Yeah.
So that's P.E.G wind. A reminder that we had a discussion and we owed Jessica from Missing Piece Bakery a follow-up discussion at the next meeting, so I just wanna put that on the radar now for a discussion with the trustees, as a reminder.
I had it as a note to bring it up. We haven't heard anything, there's nothing new,
Nothing new.
and you wanted to sit on it for a while.
Mhm.
Remember? Have you been able to think?
Nope. I've been able to think about it, but I don't have a solution.
And I'm not saying we can't
Right.
follow up with her by me placing a phone call saying we're still taking under advisement, but we're a governance structure of our word, and we said we would talk about it tonight and follow up with her. So I'm looking for guidance from the trustees on how to proceed.
Well, I do know that the Chamber of Commerce had sent Jessica an email with regards to small business loans. There was a meeting, I think December 6th. It came in late to the chamber email, so it was, she got it the morning of the meeting. I don't know, I don't think she was able to attend that meeting virtually, but she had the information from it, from what I understand. So, that's what I know. But I think, you know, again, going back, you know, the loan should be part, you know, should cover what she needs for the sign.
So do we have a determination of, her request point blank was, is there anything above and beyond the loan that the trustees can offer to support the business? And if the answer is no, I just wanna be able to relay that to her.
I'm not aware of anything.
I'm not either.
No, me either.
Heather, you have a question?
I was wondering on what she was actually specifically requesting from.
So she was here 2 weeks ago, and her request was essentially some additional help with signage. She did apply for and has received, or is in queue to receive, minus the final little pieces of our state revolving loan fund. So she's applied for and has received from a committee we have $5,000,
Okay.
which she can use for any operational costs that she chooses. She wanted to know if there was anything above and beyond that the village could assist her with, in particular with paying for the sign, which if I recall was about $5,200, right? Yeah,
And would this sign be right on the building, or is this,
right on the building. So you know
Okay.
where it's Welcome to Swanton right now in Gordon's?
yes,
So the bakery is in that corner of the
Yes.
building, and it would be, we had a slide up, I no longer have it or a picture of it, but it's right there close to that, same side of the building.
On that black background,
Right.
that panel, that black panel he has up there. Right on that.
right there on that, yeah. Okay, so she's not really in the front of the building, she's kind of on the back side.
Yeah.
As,
Correct.
So
She's in that corner, and the proposed restaurant to be determined, a lot of stuff that still has to be worked out, is in the other roughly, it's roughly 2/3 of the space,
okay,
I believe. And can't wait, we can't wait till she's in there, we
Okay.
can't wait till the restaurant's in there,
same,
yeah.
wonderful.
So, I don't think there's any motion needed, I think I can just, I heard the three trustees say at this point, utilize the loan for whatever purpose she sees fit, but at this point, there's nothing additional in terms of monetary support that we can offer.
Right.
Okay.
Okay,
All right, unless, we don't need a motion, do we? Okay. All right, the EV charging stations here at 120 First Street. So I just need some guidance from all of you. The generous donations from the Paxman family have ended. So we did talk briefly at one point, we're paying for people to utilize that until January 1st. So if you recall, the vendor, and I'm gonna have to refer to my notes for that name, Watt Point, as in WATT Point is the vendor. before my arrival, so post a year ago, there were a tremendous number of problems with the credit card reader. It wasn't working, a lot of frustration, aging technology. We pulled those. That's when the Paxman family agreed to donate. So we are researching. Heidi's the point of contact on this. She's going to start on this project tomorrow. We are researching whether there is proprietary technology through WattPoint in an upgraded manner that will allow us to have somebody swipe a credit card. Not looking to make a buck, just looking to pay for the electricity that's actually used to charge somebody's car. Unless the trustees tell me that we want to pay for that ourselves as a courtesy, or put in the charging system. Alternatively, if we cannot find a solution, we may have to exit any relationship with WattPoint, remove those level 2 chargers, and look for grant funding to put in a level 3 charger, which is the fast charger, which would be beneficial for anyone and everyone. That cost, by the way, is roughly $92,000. 90 to 95% of which is fully funded by grants. And then for that extra piece, you prorate, you add a couple cents a kilowatt hour, and you make that back over a year or two of the charging station. So ultimately, you don't lose money. It's a minor cost up front, but we're hoping for a solution. So the first question is, shall we continue to pursue charging for that electricity, or shall we give it away for free?
How much is being used?
So it varies per month. It can go anywhere from $66 to a couple $100 a month. I think Trustee Paxman can really weigh in on that, because that's what I see as the range when I look today.
Yep. Yeah, when we first started making the donation, it was roughly around $16 a month, and it's grown.
Yeah.
You know, I've had a lot of people come up and simply just say thank you.
Right.
You know, it's a little bit humbling, but it's, you know, it helped them out greatly.
Yep.
So.
So the problem with the system hasn't been fixed, or just,
The problem with the system was not fixed because we had a generous offer for a donation that is
So-
ending.
Paxman donation was basically paying for the charging?
Correct. For the electricity utilized during charging sessions.
Wasn't the credit card deal supposed to be part of the?
Never worked. They got pulled out.
Yeah,
They're
but
they're in Al's
was that-
they're in Al's office on a shelf. It's dated technology. They don't work. I believe, again, before my arrival, a lot of arguments with this vendor. A lot of problems with this vendor. Now, Heidi might call up and say, hey, how do we get around this? Can you send us an updated proprietary charging system? And it may work overnight just like that. So the question, I just looking for guidance, pursue that, or do the trustees wish to just offer a free benefit out there?
Can I offer it? I don't think we should offer it for free. It's a coming on thing. It's gonna be more, there's gonna be more need for demand. I think that if there is money to go with the fast chargers, I think we should pursue those anyway. Because quite frankly, I'm not an electric car aficionado, but the biggest complaint that my engineering friends tell me is the freaking time it takes to charge.
Right.
So if we offer fast chargers, people build it and they will come. As more cars get sold, I think we should pursue seeing if we can get a workable card reader for the two that we have. The problem that we found was the charge from the credit card company exceeded the amount of money that we actually produced as profit. If after this thing is fixed, that pursues, then we should look at an alternative way, which is either that people have to come in and pay in the office ahead of time? Or some other piece, but I don't think we should do it for free.
Is level 2 charging old technology versus the level 3?
It's the most populous charging you'll find in the US, but level 3 is now the way to go. When we do 74 Merchants Row and we
Yep.
put one there, we're gonna pursue grant funding. So it seems like interim fix, if the company's willing to accommodate us, we fix the card reader. January 1st, we start charging via credit card, while at the same time pursuing level 3. So again, that structure is 90 to 95%, so a maximum out of pocket from the electric department of 10,000, which we would wrap into the rates and recoup probably within a year.
Yeah. And the demand and the request for those is gonna get hot, I guarantee it. I know of a rental car deal where they picked up the car and the guy was going to Toronto, had to stop, you know, he at a level 3 for 45 minutes to charge the car to make the rest of the trip. That was doable because it was a restaurant right there, but to lay over for 4 to 8 hours is not. And if people are gonna use the electric cars, they're gonna insist on fast charging.
And I think level 3, everybody's getting level 3s, and it keeps us competitive. A level 3 downtown at 74 Merchants Row, and we do have a bakery and a restaurant. Any businesses downtown, that's a good draw.
Yep, exactly.
And this would be an additional nice draw. Rail trail right here, 45-minute charge, that would be good. Okay, I have my marching orders. That's easy enough.
That okay, guys?
Yes, I agree with everything.
Personally, I can't see going any further with this company that won't fix what's wrong.
Well, yes, with the exception of people have come to rely on them instead of just taking them out. When it takes, as you well know, it's gonna take a while to get a grant and get a level 3 installed here. Not gonna happen overnight. I would say 1 year.
1 year.
I'm just guessing. I would say a year.
The state's kind of slow.
We're pretty close to that. Any grant funding is slow.
I know.
I'm gonna pass down to you next a couple of final work products. If you wanna pass those down. So these are day land surveying, did the boundary survey. So one of them is, and we have the Mylar as well that we'll drop off at the town clerk's here at the end of the week. 6 South River Street, the former Riv Hotel, and the other one is 74 Merchants Row. And we'll talk very straightforward on the Hotel Riv, 6 South River, it's 0.60 acres. We're still waiting on KAS to get a clean bill of health and a certificate of completion in 2024 before we sell it, but pretty straightforward property. A lot of history, but pretty straightforward.
That's twice the size it's listed for.
I believe right there it says 0.6 acres.
No, but when we bought it, it was 0.33 acres, or it's on the town, but.
For the record, on the camera, let me verify that. Now you got me concerned, but I think it says it right there.
Yes, it does.
It does, okay, all right.
But it hasn't been surveyed, so
Right.
we're just guessing.
Yes. So the power of the survey is even more important for 74 Merchants Row, so we'll try to hold them up for the camera after. I don't have PDFs. So 74 Merchants Row, remember, we want to optimize the size of the parking lot when we do pave it and get money for stormwater and paving and all that, 3 to 5 years. Hopefully we can do this sooner than that, but it is much larger than we thought.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of considerations here. There is a right-of-way for Renee Chaffee and her LLC. You can see that, Sam and Betty LLC. So she has a right-of-way, so we will have to work with her on an easement for a handicap accessible ramp, which we had talked about. So if you're looking at Merchants Row and it's here and you got the parking lot, we wanted that handicap accessibility on that side of the business. And then we want to take that parking lot as far over as we can. I always forget the street, Diane. It's
Ferry
Ferry,
Street.
thank you. Ferry Street down to that telephone pole, I believe we can get at least 20 parking spots in there, level 3 charger, and that is a massive gain for what we're trying to do downtown. It's a game changer. It's gonna take money to do it, but we have our own public works company, so we can do some of the work internally, but, then the other consideration, I have a call into Renee Chaffee, in a discussion with her. We technically, per this survey, own the parking for her back apartments, which I'm gonna assume we're gonna continue to be good partners, because this is probably gonna come as a surprise to her, that this survey says 74 Merchants Row expands
I didn't know
almost
that.
all the way to the paved alleyway, House of Pizza.
I thought it went here.
So what's the 13-foot right of way for?
Now.
She has a right of way to the edge of the building, so
this-
she
this
has
is a
it.
slope, isn't
The
it?
right of way is on the right as you drive in. That's
So you
essentially
can't
for
use
a
it,
driveway,
we can use this.
access to get to the back of the building.
Wow, where's the?
So that's an
slope?
established
Here,
right of
though.
way. So, more to follow,
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
both parcels are really good news. That's
So
why
come
we
up
survey them.
here.
Cheap money to survey overall, and now we've got, it's a pleasant surprise on both properties. Questions on the surveys at all?
How do we handle the slope going down to the property behind it?
We put a massive retaining wall in and maximize the property.
Gotcha.
It's gonna cost money. We have the blocks to do it. They're located right next door. The interlocking blocks, that's why we're saving them all for that
Yep.
location. So that's a long ferry, whatever the right of way is, or whatever any setback is, which we have to explore with zoning. We'll come back, we'll clear all the trees out. The property owner, first on the right going down Ferry Street, already is very concerned about the trees. Now that we know we own them, next spring we'll make an effort to get those out of there and get those removed. I like having you here.
Thank you. Well, I like knowing what's going on with our village. Thank you. So the parking lot is kind of like to the left of the building if you're looking at it.
Correct.
And it's gonna go down below as well as what, for the 20, or is it just 20
Yes,
for above?
there is really no below. It's all gonna be one level, but it's bigger,
Oh.
so you can take a look at that after we put it
Okay.
right there.
Oh, good to
It's,
know.
it's a
So I think
bigger,
that's sloped back there.
yes, so picture way back near the telephone pole, back 10 feet this way,
Mm-hmm,
retaining wall up, a level parking lot.
okay.
It's,
Yeah,
otherwise,
retaining
it's
here.
useless area. We may as well
Right.
maximize it for parking, whatever we're
And
allowed to
putting
do.
charging stations as well in there?
The charging station will be right out front, so there's a telephone pole now, kind of near the entrance. We might move it a little bit, but that's level, that's, three-phase power, so your
Okay.
level 3 can be right there.
Right there.
And that's where it's beneficial to have your own power company, because you can do the install yourself.
Okay. And the lighting and everything is okay to be that close to housing for a parking lot
Yes,
back there?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, it should be good. I mean, I don't exactly know how it's gonna look. We'll have an engineer do that, because I only pretend to kind of.
But it certainly would help with the businesses there.
Parking is what we hear all the time, must have parking, must have parking.
Yes.
And I don't know if you've been around, I know Damon has, for the presentations with VHB, we're looking for grant funding. If you go all the way down the backside of the park, we're looking to just have one way, bike lanes, fix the stormwater, fix the paving, fix the sidewalk, and have parking on that side of the park as well, sidewalk side of the parking lot.
Oh, that's great.
Damon, you had something?
So with the level 3 charger proposing for the 74 merchant, is there a possibility of talking with Tesla as well for supercharging, or the private industry besides Tesla?
I do not know. It's a research all possibilities for grant funding and figure out what the best alternatives are.
Because I know a lot of new, like, I think it's like Ford, P.E.G, and a few other major corporations are now adopting Tesla as supercharging as their standard.
Yep.
And that's gonna take effect, I think, in this next year or the year after.
Yeah.
Is that a possibility of, you know,
It's all a possibility. I think it's gonna be whatever the industry standards #1 is.
Yeah.
Was the rest of the building opposed to having parking in the back?
No, so that's technically right now, that's parking for tenants that are there.
Okay,
So we're hearing
Employees.
yes, right. We're hearing for the very first time. Honestly, we didn't know we owned that until this survey.
wow.
We'll be good neighbors. If anyone's watching and hearing this for the first time, we're not saying we're correct, trustees?
Right.
We're not evicting anybody. We're just,
Nope,
We're
we're just
gonna work-
asking them to park out back,
Okay,
please.
wonderful. Good news.
any other questions in reference to that? Okay, so that was pleasant surprises. I think everybody knows that we had a kickoff meeting here a short time ago for public safety facility next door and renovations here. As a reminder, open house number 2, 3, and 4 are tomorrow here in this room, 10 a.m., 2 p.m., 6 p.m. All of these next 9 are gonna be in person, no teams. The whole point of these now are getting together face to face and then giving people tours. There'll be many more opportunities. Northwest Access TV was nice enough to not only be here for the meeting, but to follow us around for the tours, so that's all documented. The video's online and available. Diane will make sure tomorrow that there's a link, she's had conversations with people, that there's a link to Northwest Access video for the tour to show that. I assume I don't know if it's even available online yet,
I
but
think it is, but we'll
if
check.
it's not, as soon as it is,
It'll be on our Facebook page.
right, and we'll continue to have the dialogue. We'll have so it's tomorrow, it's Saturday, and one day next week. That's the first 10. And then we'll go from there. 25 more in January, February, and first couple days of March. Because 35 should be enough to have a dialogue. And as a reminder, and I'm saying this for the camera more than anybody, we continue to simply have a desire to have a candid, open dialogue expressing what we think is a critical need for all 5 departments of this organization that are just out of space here. And our hopes are just to have that dialogue, and then the voters will tell us how they feel by going to the polls. And that's all we can ask, and I hope for a nice, professional, polite exchange of ideas and
Agreed.
dialogue. So that's the goal anyway. Wednesday, KAS will be on site next door to do the site marking for what they're gonna do for their survey over there. So remember, they gotta do some additional soil sampling. They're gonna try to find, with ground penetrating radar, the likely improperly capped 2,000 gallon underground storage tank that's on the property. They'll locate that. The cost is 25,000 or so. Petroleum cleanup fund, I believe off the top of my head, covers about 16,000. The rest is covered by brownfields through Northeast Regional Planning Commission, because we're enrolled in the BRELA program. So again, all of the testing, all of the upfront costs will be funded. We are still yet to be determined whatever we have to do to mitigate the situation might be part of the costs that will be borne by us. But we have to wait and see.
Okay,
We need a meeting adjustment, so our next meeting is on Christmas, and I assume you're gonna wanna move that.
Not gonna be here.
So we would like,
6:30?
we would like to meet and move that to December 28th, at which time budget has to, 27th? Like I say, 27th?
7 p.m.
Hold on. 27th, Wednesday the 27th.
Wednesday, the 27th, okay.
Yeah.
My bad. The 27th, 7 PM. And one of the items must be the budget discussion.
Yeah,
Told you I'd be quick, that's all I have.
really?
Yeah.
Good job. Thank you.
Except for executive session.
Yeah, right. Any other necessary business? This is the next item on the agenda. Do we have any other necessary business?
No, sir.
just a question. Winter parking, how's it going?
We had to tow 2 people today.
Really?
So, but I like the arrangement. Dean's very, very good about working with the police department. The police department does everything they can. In this case, they knew both people. They had made several attempts at outreach. They have talked to them in the past about you can't park there, and they did anyway, and they did. So,
I do notice from time to time, some of the cars are not necessarily parked on the street, they're parked on between the street and the sidewalk on the grass section.
Green space.
We used to call that the Esplanade or something.
yeah. It makes it very difficult for our folks to do what they're trying to do in a timely manner, especially when it's coming down like it was this morning. So we had to tow 2 today.
Well, carry on.
Will do. Will do. Yeah.
I have just one comment. My favorite topic, that mailbox removal down at the park.
Yes.
I've not yet cornered the postmaster, but I've talked to 2 postal workers, and they have no idea why that was removed. And they don't know if there's one to be, if there's another to be installed somewhere.
So I was with Paul Nolan, as you know, he was in town, we had our meeting on FERC and FERC relicensing. And we went to Cody's Cafe for breakfast. And I explained about how we would like to have a mailbox like that. And he said there are several towns near where he lives that they had to remove them because people go in and use a angled
Fishing.
device, fishing, and they
Fishing.
take out mail and steal it. It's just, I don't know, I just thought that was funny, cause I thought of you, I'm like, hey, this is where we parked, I was explaining what we're trying to do someday, but it'd be better over on the other side of the park, and Paul commented that, it's pretty well known that a lot of those now are hard, because people will go in and get in the neck of it and steal outgoing mail.
As a mechanical engineer, I could fix that in about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know why they haven't, but in a couple cases, they had to pull them out.
Yeah, well, it's,
And you're all seeing, we haven't had it, but you're all seeing there's a statewide uptick on porch piracy for packages. It's that giving season, and for thieves, it's the taking season. So there is an uptick statewide in that.
That's true. I know.
yeah. The UPS drivers, I gotta hand it to them. They drop the packages off, but they always knock on the door to let you know something's there.
Right. Yeah.
If there's somebody home, you're probably okay,
Right.
but there are people that are gone during the day, wow.
They knock on some doors, not mine.
Okay, if there's no other business, necessary business, I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session to discuss customer accounts, personnel, and real estate.
So moved.
Seconded.
Motion's been made and seconded to go into executive session. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
No opposition, we're in executive session. Thank you.